Hey guys, this is a proper task guide for search mission. For this task, you have to locate Prapor's missing convoy on woods, as well as locate the temporary Usec camp, and then you have to survive and extract from the location. And you do have to do this all in one single raid. So when you are doing this task, if you're new to woods, one of the hardest things to do in half of the battle is to try and orientate yourself to where you did spawn on the map, as well as keeping track of where you are throughout a raid on the map. So basically when I spawn into woods, then I look around to see if I can see any water that's close to me or any buildings, because if you can see water, then that will greatly cut down on the areas where you could potentially be, as well as if you can see buildings, that will also immediately narrow down your possible spawn location. After seeing if there is any water or buildings, then I check to see if I can locate the huge mountain in the middle of the map, which will allow you to more easily verify what direction of the map that you're in. So once you have that out of the way, I will show you guys a few tricks on how you can find the convoy and Prapor's camp. So if you're completely new at the map and want the easiest, most straightforward way to find the camp, then the lumber mill is an easy landmark to use. However, because it is the most popular place on the map for PMCs and also has the potential for the woods boss Sturman to spawn there, then it can definitely be dangerous to stick around there for too long. And just so that you guys know, if Sturman does spawn there, then usually you can tell, because he will fire off 3 unsuppressed shots very rapidly from his SVD, and that will basically be like a dinner bell to any PMCs on the map. So just be aware of that and try not to get him or his guards to aggro on you while you are around that area. But once we are at the sawmill, we will be heading to the right, following this road all the way around the entire way. And just so that you guys know, being on the road will have you pretty vulnerable since there is no cover. So usually I do recommend staying just off the road on the left hand side of it, so that you can potentially dash into the cover of the trees if need be. But by following this road around and staying on the left side path of it the entire way around, you will ensure that you do not get lost, and that you will also come up to a pile of garbage that is on the right side of the road after a large power line transmission tower. Once you see this pile of garbage, then you are going to turn right before you get to it, make your way up this little hill, which you will see a small path there, and then you will see a makeshift camp as you get up and around the big rock that's at the top of the hill. And this is going to be Prapor's Usec camp. Once you move further into the camp, you will get a notification once you're about halfway in there by the trucks. And then once you get this notification, then we will be able to head over to the second portion of the task, which is to locate the convoy. And it is not far from where we currently are. So we will be heading down the hill around the smaller campsite and then towards the ponds that are below us. And we are going to stay on the left side of the closest pond and just keep going straight until we come up to a road. And then you should notice the convoy is slightly on your left. Then you just have to walk up to the convoy, and then once you get close enough, then a notification of another subtask complete will go off, and then you will be good to head towards whichever extract that you do currently have for that raid. But 80% of the time, it does seem like it will be outskirts. Now, if you are somewhat familiar with woods, then you do not have to follow that long road all the way around, since like I mentioned, you will be relatively exposed while following it. Instead, you can use Dickhead Rock and then run in a straight line from the sawmill area, and then use Dickhead Rock to angle yourself, and basically that will cut down your travel time by about half, as well as provide you with a lot more cover on your way to the camp. You will just have to remember that there is more of a chance of being turned around since it is woods and there are not many things to reference in between the points of interest. And by doing this, you will also have a cheeky overlook of the camp to be able to potentially see any PMCs that are lurking around there before you make your way over and cross the road and go into the camp yourself. But if you do get a spawn that's nowhere near the lumber mill, for example up by the Scav town, then I will show you guys how to get yourself to Prapor's camp fairly easily, because it just doesn't make sense to me for you to run all the way down to the lumber mill and then all the way up to the camp and the convoy, because then you will essentially be crossing the map twice. So if you do spawn in and notice the Scav town or the car extract bridge, then you can look towards the large mountain as a reference and then start following the road to the right hand side of that. You're going to end up going past the car extract if you did spawn on the left side of that, until you do come to some power lines and then the transmission tower. Once you reach the power lines, then you are going to turn left and then follow them along through the woods, running directly underneath them for quite a while. You will be crossing over parts of the road as well as going up and down some hills, but this path does not have any AI scavs, and it is rare for you to run into any PMCs while crossing over this part of the map as well. You will pass by a burnt car with a bear statue in the driver's seat, which will let you know that you're going in the right direction, and then to keep following the power lines. You'll also notice that you'll start to see some water or ponds on your right hand side, and once you see these ponds, it will signify that you are going in the right direction and that you're in the right part of the map, because the only area of woods that has multiple little ponds or separate bodies of water is in the northwest part of the map, which is where the convoy as well as Prapor's camp are located. So basically keep going until you come to another road, and then you will continue to follow the power lines and now also the road on the right hand side of it until you can see the pile of garbage just ahead of you, which will be on the side of the road. And once you get close to it, then you are going to turn up the hill to the right just before you get to that pile of garbage, and that will be Prapor's camp that you continue on just how I mentioned earlier on in this video. So for this task, you do have to go to both the locations as well as survive and extract all in the same raid. If you do happen to die in between finding the locations and then extracting, then you will have to come back and then redo the task. Another point of interest that can be potentially helpful for you to look out for is the tower that's located at the Scav bunker, and this landmark will help you if you are in the northwest part of the map, especially if you happen to spawn behind Prapor's camp, which can happen, or even if you do find yourself at the abandoned village cultist area. Another thing to remember is that surrounding Prapor's camp, there are some mines on the backside of it, so if you do go too far off the actual campsite, then you can blow yourself up. But if that does happen, the best thing to do is to leave the minefield the same way that you entered into it and hope that another one doesn't go off. Typically, the first mine will not kill you, and sometimes you can even survive a second mine, but it's best to not test your luck. And one last thing that I will mention is by the Scav bunker, the goons do have a chance to spawn there, and so if you are doing this task and start to get full autoed from the Scav bunker area, then it could definitely be them, so just be aware of that. So hopefully you guys found this guide useful and did help you to complete this task. I wanted to try and be as thorough as possible to help any of the new players coming to the game, since I know that Woods can be a challenging map to learn, and no other guides really explained how to find this camp by any other route other than using the sawmill. If you're still here at the end of the video, I definitely appreciate you, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a couple of my different social links in case you guys wanted to connect more easily. I am primarily streaming on Twitch now multiple nights a week. So if you do want to connect with me or my community, that would probably be the easiest way to do so. And if you do come over to the Twitch and you want to join the Discord community, then just type !Discord or cord in the chat in order to get an invite link. And if you don't use Twitch, then I do have a link in the picture as well as a link below in the description. And we are growing and currently have an active and welcoming community with people of all experience and skill levels. So there will always be someone who could help to answer any questions that you may have. As always, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.